just continue from there.
Cool.
So you had the option of the graduate job.
Yep.
And you obviously Massive Joe's was taking off.
Yeah.
Probably not to the level that it's at now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what were some factors that made your decision easy to go towards like deciding to build more Massive Joe's? How long did you juggle like having that graduate job for? All that sort of stuff.
Well, it definitely wasn't an easy decision. It was probably the most difficult decision up until that point in my life that I had to make, because for me it was, I've spent all of this time and money and effort studying, you know, these professional career paths that I intended on pursuing. And effectively, you know, for lack of a better term, looking at throwing that all away to go and pursue something very high risk in a new market, undeveloped market. You know, well, at the time I was 25. As a 25-year-old with no business experience apart from what I'd done through Massive Joe's. So it was a very difficult decision, and I think you know, the reason why I made the decision was I just felt like what I was supposed to do at the time. I really can't justify. I couldn't justify it back then, to be honest. You look at it on paper, the pros and cons, it just doesn't make sense. And I still really can't justify it now. It just felt like it was the right thing to do. So I did it, pretty much. So when that happened, at the time I was still living with my parents. And running Massive Joe's from a spare bedroom in my parents' house. Well, at that time I'd moved to the garage because it had grown. And so then I went searching for a warehouse and office. And searched for almost a year, and then came across this place that we're sitting in right now, MJHQ at Edwardstown. So I moved the business into here. And then something very interesting happened when we moved into here, is we had the space to do like a retail showroom. So I was like, well, I'll make a little retail showroom, and then people that are ordering their stuff online who live in Adelaide can come and pick up their stuff. That was kind of the idea behind it. And so what happened was people found out about this retail showroom, and we started to have customers come in doing retail trade. So we didn't have an EFTPOS machine or anything. Everything was cash because we weren't set up for
you're
for
literally
retail.
learning as you're going on.
And so we had people, you know, come in and start doing retail trade with us, and we're like, well, this is weird. Like, we're down at Side Street in an industrial area of Adelaide, warehouse-based area. It doesn't make sense that people would actually come and shop with us.
Probably just wouldn't have been a lot of option, like in Adelaide, there's not a lot of sub stores around to actually go and look and ask someone questions and talk to them about products and stuff.
Well, I think what we found was, because then that took my interest, I was like, why are people shopping with us? What is going on here? So we started doing some research into what other supplement retailers were doing, bricks and mortar retailers. And what we found was that either the product range was wrong, the prices were too expensive, the service was wrong. There were just a lot of things that could be improved. So we're like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for us to really do something, you know, to benefit the consumer here. So let's actually, you know, let's do retail properly. So we refitted out this area in here and made it like a proper retail store. You know, started advertising that we're doing retail trade, and then the retail trade really picked up, and we were like stealing a lot of business from our local competitors that were in bricks and mortar retail. So now we had the online side of the business, which was still going very strong, and now we started dipping our toes into retail because the opportunity was there to do so. And then it got to the point where we were here for 2 years, and the retail side continued to grow and grow and grow. So then I thought, well, you know, there's an opportunity to do proper retail stores, you know, in shopping centres and that sort of thing. So we opened Dernancourt, which is just over 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, last July. So we went and we opened Dernancourt, and Dernancourt just, you know, our first proper retail store, flagship type store, just went crazy right from the start. You know, really good sales figures, like just blew our minds.
You're in a good spot there.
Like I remember when I first saw that, I was like, that's like perfectly placed from like a business point of view.
Was the gym next door to it at that point?
It wasn't, but we knew it was opening.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got the heads up that they were putting a good life there.
Okay. Well, that certainly would help things as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we did Derncourt went very well. And then at that point it was like, okay, we're really onto something here with this bricks and mortar retail. All in the while, you know, we hadn't, and we still haven't forgotten about the online side of our business. It's still the primary sales channel for our business. But we were like, okay, there's a great opportunity here to do something bricks and mortar retail. So we put together this plan geographically about where we wanted to put stores in South Australia to kind of, you know, span the entire state. And then we started. So we went after Derncourt, we did Gawler. After Gawler, we did Western Suburbs, so Flinders Park. After that, we did City, we did Norwood. After that, we did Southern, so we did Seaford. After that, we did Mid-North, so Parabanks. And then that was pretty much Adelaide covered. You know, there's only so many places you can put.
Quite, you know, quick expansion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Really dived into that one head first.
Yeah.
So we went from Derncourt. It took us 12 months to open Gawler, and then effectively we've done a retail store every 3 months on the 3 months since then.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they just keep popping up everywhere, like, every now and again, just your Facebook page, like, another store here, another store there.
Yeah.
And then you went, like, outside of
Correct.
Adelaide,
and so then from that point, we pretty much took what we'd done in Adelaide and we're like, well, there's nothing really we can do more in Adelaide, because we'd almost reached, in terms of bricks and mortar retail, there's like a saturation point where, I mean, we've got 7 stores here, we could open 20, but we'd probably do the same amount of business. So the stores would just be stealing sales from each other. So once you kind of reach that saturation point, you need to start looking at new markets. So for us, from an online sales perspective, Western Australia has always been a very strong state for us. We do. It's our second strongest state in terms of sales after South Australia. So when we started looking about, you know, going into other states, you know, Perth was always one of our top picks. And so we did Perth. We did Perth 3 months ago. So in June this year. And then the next one is Melbourne, which opens in 5 weeks' time.
Oh wow.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So, you know, to go from that point from, you know, being, you know, in your parents' house in the bedroom, excelling, to get to this point, I think there's lots of crucial points there that I think we could touch on, like, you know, how did you go with knowing, like, partnering up with the right people, you know, finding, like, the right employees, all that sort of stuff, you know, things that we've gone through that we've had big headaches with, you know, tell us a little bit about that.
What would you like me to tell you about first?
So did you try to, like, you know, manage so much on your own? Did it get to the point where you're like, okay, like, I need an assistant, or I need, like, a manager, or a sales rep, or...
Yeah, absolutely.
There's only so much you can do yourself.
I remember we had many years ago now, like, we had a meeting here where you were like doing like a supplement kind of thing. With the gyms and stuff. And I remember you took me here and you made me meet everyone here that you had. And I remember you had like a graphic designer and like a marketing person. And I was like, wow, this is like a legit, like, full-on business. Like, they were just being like I don't know, like, sometimes people don't realize how much it takes to make something work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you know, going from like real grassroots stuff, it was always my intention to do as much as I possibly could, right? Because from a business perspective, when you start paying wages, you know, it's another expense. So you need to make sure that you've got enough revenue coming in and you've got enough profit coming in to be able to pay somebody else to do a job. So you really have to, and what I did was try and build up as much business as I possibly could myself before I even thought about employing other people. So I was doing everything, you know, I was doing website, I was doing sales, fulfillment, ordering, marketing, web design, graphic design, videos, everything was me. But then it does get to a point where you only have so many hours in the day, right? So you need to start thinking about scalability and scaling your time. So that's when you start employing people to do certain jobs. So the first person that I employed was literally just an assistant, and the thing that he did was just help me fulfill orders. That was pretty much it. You know, he'd go and pick stock and pack bags and fulfill. So I didn't have to worry about that anymore. Once he was trained up, obviously, didn't have to worry about that. Then when we moved in to this Massive Joe's headquarters, I employed a sales manager, who's still with us today, Steve. And so his job was effectively to take over the online sales side of the business. So, you know, once again, trained him up, taught him how to do everything, so then I didn't have to worry about that and I could spend my time focusing on other things.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So, you know, once I'd kind of reached maximum capacity in different areas and the business was continuing to grow, so we had increasing revenue, increasing profits, so we could afford to pay staff, that's where I started, you know, employing people to do different jobs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, did you envision, like when you started kind of seeing the shape that Massive Joe's could take,
Yeah.
did you envision it to be like the supplement store, or did you envision it just to wanting to like dominate like everything at an online point?
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, some of the other stuff that you guys have obviously branched into, like apparel and
Yeah.
like the online content side of things.
Yeah.
Like, what was your thing that you were like, yeah, like I'd be really happy if it just got to this point?
Yeah. So when I first started the business, I was dead set online.
Yeah.
I was like, I have no intention of doing retail stores, overheads are too high, bricks and mortar retail's dying, everyone's going to be buying stuff online. I had no intention of doing apparel. You know, apparel is a completely different business model to fast moving consumer goods, which is the market we're in.
Yeah.
And food as well. We're effectively in the FMCG food side of the business.
Yeah.
Apparel is completely different. So, you know, from when I first started, my mindset was online supplement retail.
Yeah.
That's it. We're not going to consider anything else. But then as the business kind of evolved and different opportunities presented themselves, I went through, you know, the bricks and mortar retail with you guys as an example. We kind of just went with the flow, you know, not necessarily went with the flow.